Well, open source software is basically two things. It's a way to collaborate in the development of software, and second, it's a way to license that software. And with respect to the licensing model, it's a radical new way of doing things compared to a traditional software model where you say, well, you can only use it for this thing specifically and nothing else. But open source software gives you, through the license, a lot of freedoms. Basically, it says you can use the software for whatever you want to use this for. You can make modifications to the software. You can make the right works and whatever. And in order to do that, you also get the right to actually use and access and look at the source code. And when you've done that, you can distribute both the original software, your modifications, to everyone you like to. Basically, all the benefits derive from the fact that you get all these freedoms to use the software. And these freedoms give you flexibility. It gives you vendor independence. But maybe the most traditional benefit of open source software is, of course, that the license is free. So you don't pay for that. And in a world where you are met as a company with software license audit compliance en masse, and that's really a threat, then the fact that you know that you would always be in license compliance or almost always in license compliance is really a benefit seen from a company point of view. So the challenges are the same challenges as you would face with normal software licenses, that obviously you have to comply with the license terms. But there are certain things that you should comply with. And these things can be, I wouldn't say really a big insurmountable challenge, but it's something that you actually have to deal with. And if you're not doing that, then you risk not maybe a big lawsuit by somebody that you would risk normally if you did not comply with the proprietary license, but you risk that you cannot use the software anymore. Well, open source software is used by everyone. It's everywhere in the computing stack, from the inner workings of the internet, through the servers, through your computer, the one that you are using on your desktop, your laptop, through the tablets, the mobile phones, to the Internet of Things. And it's been used by small startups. You would have very, very few innovative small startups if they didn't have access to open source software, all the way up to blue chip companies. Gartner, the big, large consultancy firm that is a reference for most blue chip companies with respect to IT strategy, have said that if you're not using open source software as part of your IT strategy, you will have to explain why. So open source is everywhere, and open source is used by everyone. Traditionally, open source has been viewed by companies as something maybe a little bit dangerous, something you should protect yourself against very defensively. But today, most strategists understand that open source is a new way of making business. It's a new way of creating new revenue streams. It's a new way of supporting the services of your company. So today you should look at open source much more strategically, much more offensively than in the old days. My advice today would be to look at open source with a much more open view, much more open perspective, and use it as a new way to actually create revenue.